Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Y'all got to forgive me. In this good sauna, the sauna session over, just kind of cooling down. Want to pop in. One of the things I try to do is try to find and steal any moment to shoot videos. And I was listening to a guy, I think his name Jordan Peterson, and somebody sent me a video of him. And I was listening to a couple of his short talks, and one of the things he was saying was that when you want to be at the top of your field, you typically will have to, work harder and work longer. I gotta forgive him, shirt sticking to me and sweat it. Work harder and work longer than the other people in your field. And I have a personal story, and everybody kind of has their own personal story with this. But when I started building my brand on Twitter, I joined in 2009, and I was trying to figure it out. And as I looked around, I saw people writing, write, oh, I just had eggs and bacon for breakfast, and oh, I'm finna go on a walk, and oh, got another meeting. And I tried to adopt that, just posting what I'm doing, because that's how they was kind of selling it. But then I realized, I'm like, this isn't really productive. Like, just telling people what I'm about to do next, it's not really productive. And I'm like, if I'm gonna be on this space, then let me use this space for something that is productive. Like, let me use this space in a creative way. And I remember talking to Ava DuVernay, and she was a publicist at the time for films. And she was doing the publicity for like Will Smith films, and I think Denzel Washington films, and David E. Talbert films. And David E. Talbert was a mentor of mine for a season. And I reached out to Ava DuVernay. I saw she was listed as like somebody, maybe a contact or something for one of David's films. And she started mentoring me. And one of the things she said to me, she said, Tony, you should be the young black king of Twitter. Like, you can be that. And she said, look at Ashton Kutcher and one other person. She said, it could have been Taylor Swift or somebody. And she said, look how much they tweet. She was like, Ashton Kutcher tweets like 12 times a day. And so when I saw that, I said, you know what? In order to really get out here and make some noise and to be heard and to be respected for what I want to do, I'm going to have to put in work. And I started sending out original quotes. And as I was sending out these original quotes, I started to gain traction. And one day I was like, well, okay, my people who follow me already, they like the quotes. I got 34 followers is what I started with. Took a little while to get to 100. Then got to 200. Probably got to 230, 250. And I'm like, okay, it's growing. And what I started to notice is that just your everyday person could not really get 100 real followers on Twitter back in that time, 2009. I think the site started 2007. So it just kind of show you how it take time for stuff to be adopted. And one day I was like, you know what? Let me look around, because I study people. I said, let me look around and let me see what celebrities are humble, because this is an app where if somebody mentions you, it gets put in your mentions. And to me, Alicia Keys felt humble. She seemed authentic. She didn't seem caught up in the ways of society. And I tweeted, the tweet said, thinking about having a youth summit and bringing at Alicia Keys and at Sean Simmons. And Sean Simmons was a rapper, local rapper in Tampa that I went to school with at University of South Florida. And he had like 10,000, I think he had 10,000 followers on Twitter. And I didn't know if they were real or not, but that made him look like a celebrity. And I remember DMing him and I said, hey, watch this. And I sent that tweet because I felt in my spirit this gonna work because of human nature. And sure enough, Alicia Keys or whoever runs her account saw my tweet, looked at my profile. My background picture was me sitting with Oprah on Oprah's stage when she interviewed me about being a abusive boyfriend in college. And Alicia Keys followed me. I think at that time she was following 98 people or 99 people. And whoever you follow last is who's at the top. So when you go and you click on following, whoever the person followed last, they at the top. So for a while, I was the last person that Alicia Keys followed. Probably for months, or at least a month. And when she followed me, just her following me got me like 2,500 followers over the next week because of people getting on Twitter and her being their favorite singer or one of their favorite singers, and them checking her out. And so they started following me like I was somebody. And then I feel like it had to be about 3 weeks into her following me, I tweeted one morning, I woke up this morning only to realize that God had been working on my behalf while I was asleep. And she retweeted it and added in front of it, love this, with exclamation marks. So at that point, I'm like, man, is she trying to get my attention, or she just want to show support to a young brother? That sent me thousands of followers. I don't know how many, I can't remember, but then after that, other celebrities started following me. So Missy Elliott, another huge great, Tyrese, in 2009, 2010, his music was very influential with that sweet lady that song he had. Brandy Norwood, that boy is mine. So individuals on that level started following me because Alicia Keys had won 8 Grammys by that time. And then next thing you know, then other artists like Trina, the rapper, Carrie Hilson. So it was like the music industry started following. P. Diddy checked my page out and he started posting my quotes. He never followed me though. It's a shame how black men be sometimes. But he would post my quotes and put TG at the end. I'm like, bruh, at me. But he just put TG. Then whoever was running Rev Run account started copying my quotes. So that let me know they knew who I was and they was checking me out. And Rev Run was like the #1 motivator on Twitter. And the thing about it was, I went into this space of leading in my industry by producing the most content. So what I started doing is every hour on the hour, I would analyze my spirit and I would post a tweet that was an original quote. So I was posting about 17 original quotes a day. Listen to me. While I'm talking, I might have to go back. And so now I'm on to video though. So you see me posting 2-3 videos some days. That's the same mindset. The mindset is if you want to be known in your industry, in your space, you gotta work hard, you gotta produce, you gotta get uncomfortable, and you gotta be willing to be seen as lame, as doing too much, as a do good, as a try hard. You gotta be willing for all of that. Got to be willing. And so with that being the case, I realized this is something I got to do. And this is something you got to do. And I want to share this with you. Work harder. I'm hoping I did not just miss my delivery. I had ordered a new tire for my car, got a nail in it. And I just got a text from the company. I hope they don't need no signature for it. I don't think they did. It's just a tire. It's like, bro, drop that tire off now. And this right here, so hearing the brother say that, I was like, you know what? That remind me of that work ethic. But so often when you elevate and you quote unquote make it, You stop working the way you work to get where you were. So when y'all see a bunch of videos from me, just understand what my mindset is at, and what I'm coming into this knowledge. I'm just gonna be dropping, what the Lord put in my spirit, the same way I would do with quotes, but now just longer form. So you got to be ready. It's gonna be life, love, business, all across the board. You got to be ready. And what I'm risking is the greats, the veterans, the OGs looking at me and saying he's all over the place. The people who are of the mindset of the laws of power saying he's doing too much. He's too accessible. He's giving too much. So I'm going against the grain to just be authentic to who I am and what I want to do, and not trying to fit into someone else's business model. Because I realize if I want to be a servant, if I claim to be a servant can't be inaccessible and untouchable. So I can't take Jay-Z and Beyonce's business model of being distant and untouchable if I'm trying to be a servant. Because when Jesus walked the face of the earth as a servant, he allowed people to touch him. The lady with the issue of blood, when she touched the hem of his garment, she was healed. And this is the greatest individual to ever walk the face of the earth, and the one individual that every account says lived a blemish and spot-free life, a perfect life, who died and rose again. So if this individual could be boots on the ground, sandals on the ground at that time, and traveling all over by foot, and then every now and then maybe a donkey, if this individual, but understanding that when you are called in your purpose, you have a finite timeline and a finite mission that you have to complete, and you do not have control over tomorrow. You do not know what tomorrow will bring, but you know who is bringing it. So then it becomes produce while you can produce, instead of waiting for someone to give you permission to produce. Do what you can do, how you can do it, the way you do it, when you can do it, as often as you can do it. Hey, this is Tony Gaskins. God bless you. We'll talk soon.